We're here at Vietnam. Welcome along to the Vietnam Grand Prix. We're here in the pre-race lobby. My name is Ice. Glad to be back in the United Drivers League. Last saw me in the Indianapolis 500, and I'm back again to commentate this round of the UDL Formula World Championship. And I have a familiar face in the commentary booth, Jonathan. Great to have you back side with me as we get ready for live coverage of the Vietnam Grand Prix here for round number 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship. And it's going to be a very interesting race around one of the newer tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. Not going to be able to race on it in real life, but we're going to try to do it here in UDL. Let's see what happens. And I'm very excited to be back with you as well. It's been a while since we've commentated together. Great to have you side with me again, and it's going to be a good one. As we're here, we're just going to wait a few moments time for the grid to ready up in just a moment. The drivers are currently having their drivers meeting. Pecan just briefing all the drivers ahead of the Vietnam Grand Prix. Let's go over your lineup right now that we have on the grid. It's going to be Pecan 36 followed by Dream and Honos, Bossman W11, Karab, Drew U24, Speed King 91, Hellmaid 7, the Imperial 757. I'm going to say... Dilsack, Easy Hurricane, Ripper Rick, X Breezy, Snipper Pig, BOE Bryce, Dilgaff, and Kill the Birdman, Publix, and then the commentators are here, Ice Herlix and Jonathan Ledoux, who I just found out how to say his last name, so now I can add that to the commentary. And Jonathan, talking about the Vietnam Grand Prix, of course, the Hanoi Street Circuit, one of the newer tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, would have raced here. Of course, the coronavirus making things a little bit hectic. What do you expect the drivers are going to have to do to keep it alive around here? Because this is definitely a track where one mistake can lead you into a wall and ultimately leads you to the end of your race. We're going to have to wait and see how the drivers get along. We have 18 drivers on the grid right now, so a pretty packed grid here as we get set for action in just a few moments' time. We will begin with a short qualifying session with just 18 minutes of non-stop action. Drivers are allowed to set as many lap times as possible. We are running on reduced damage, so drivers with a little bit more forgiveness, they can make a little bit more side-by-side contact, get a little rougher with each other, but not too rough. You don't want to be causing major issues for drivers. The starting grid will be on qualifying. I do believe there are a few grid penalties as well, though, so I'm not sure if they go into a new lobby and set up the a custom grid, but we'll have to wait and see. Equal car performance, of course. Safety car is on, collisions are on, and ghosting is off in the race. Good to know that, and we are just a few minutes away from the start of the session. Jonathan, great to be back with you. Of course, the last time we commentated with each other was the Indianapolis 500, which was a really awesome event to be part of. We do actually have the winner of the Indianapolis 500 in here, Snipper Pig. Somehow he won it in the most crazy of fashions. And maybe we'll see him win this race in the craziest of fashions. I expect a very crazy race here in Vietnam. Considering how tight it is, it's going to be very tricky to navigate this track and navigate it well without causing a possible crash incident. So we'll have to wait and see how the drivers get along, but it's going to be interesting to say the least as we head towards the everybody readying up and getting ready for the race. It's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We should be getting underway very shortly. The drivers' meeting still underway right now, ladies and gentlemen, but we will be under qualifying conditions very shortly. It's going to be a 50% race distance, which I do believe I was told was about 28 laps around here. And here we go. I see a few more drivers running up, so I believe we're going to get set for action. Here we are. Session starting in 28 seconds. Jonathan, it's great to be back with you, and now we get to do what we like to really do, which is some Formula One action and commentary. I haven't commentated with you on Formula One, but it's going to get interesting, and I'm excited to be back alongside with you once again. And here we go. Session starts now, and let's get set. Short qualifying action here at the Hanoi Street Circuit for the Vietnam Grand Prix. You're watching live coverage of Round 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship. Make sure to subscribe to the United Drivers League YouTube channel to follow on with all the action that's happening in the United Drivers League. You can also join the league, possibly if you're interested. Just make sure to contact any relative people in the league to make sure if you want to try to get in on the action that you're watching today. We are just getting ready. It's about to be short qualifying action. Just to remember, it's 18 minutes of non-stop action. Drivers allowed to set as many lap times as they want within the allotted time to see if they can put it on pole position here in the race, which I expect around a tight street circuit like this. Pole position will be an imperative place to start at if you want to have the best chance of winning this race. As we're just loading up now, we have all the drivers right there, and we should be getting ready and into the race shortly. I was just watching, and here we are loading up now. I was just watching the practice session. Drivers having a tough time acclimatizing themselves to the Hanoi Street Circuit, a very tough track to navigate, and we'll have to wait and see how they do. But here we are, guys. The crowd is very rambunctious, as you can hear them. No crowds in the real world, so we do have our virtual crowds here, though. And it is cloudy skies right now. I don't know if there's a chance of rainfall in the race. We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, it is cloudy conditions, so track temperatures will be down a little bit. The grip is going to be down a little bit for the drivers, and we already see somebody about to come out. I see a black shirt, and it is actually a black and pink shirt because it is one of the Racing Points that's coming out, and that's BOE Bryce. He'll be the first person out on track in the Racing Point, or as many have dubbed it this season, the Pink Mercedes, due to its likeness of the championship-winning 2019 Mercedes. Of course, a very, very similar front end and rear end with the Racing Point this season, as he flings it around on his outlap, warming up those soft compound tires he's decided to put on, which I do expect this track's not going to be too hard on the tires. Given the amount of straights, drivers should be able to make these things last pretty long. There are some very hard braking zones and some very weird turns, so you have to go wide in a few of them. It's very weird racing lines, something you wouldn't necessarily expect out of a normal track, which does make it interesting. We'll have to wait and see if the actual racing will be interesting, though, as drivers will reach very high speeds down these streets. In fact, let's get the telemetry on so you can see 206 miles per hour before braking into that hairpin, where you're going as low as 37 miles per hour and then speeding it back up. Lots of straights on this track. As you can see, the track getting very, very busy. Drivers want to set their lap times quickly. All the runners now mostly on the soft tires, but it's Dilsack and Pecan 36 actually, who have decided to opt for medium tires for the moment. We'll have to wait and see if they decide to keep that, but the majority of runners in this currently on the soft compound tire, as a lot of drivers on their outlaps right now. As I'll get some of the lap data up, and there's their full track map. Let's get set. I'm going to ride on board with BOE Bryce as he starts his lap. DRS activated, coming over with the hot lap mode, no overtake in qualifying, braking in the turn one, clipping the apex pretty well, bringing it around this very long, winding right-hand turn as it really widens out. As you can see, a Ferrari there, and that looked to be Imperial that was off track there as he lets by the Racing Point car. And now on to this next DRS straight, a very, very long straight. Car is going to reach near 200 miles per hour. In fact, go over at 202 before braking, and that's going to be a fastest sector one, of course, as actually goes a little wide and actually goes up on the curb a little bit. So not what you might have done. Actually, right there, he actually almost lost into the wall, and I think he's going to kind of abandon this lap right there, as he almost saw his qualifying go into smoke right there, as riding aboard of Cora right now, who just came into turn 1. And Publix has an invalidated lap. BOE Bryce is still going fastest in some sectors as he is the furthest man up, but I suspect this isn't going to be a great lap as it is into the now 125, 127. So this is going to be a little bit slower than he might like it to be as he's going to come around the final turn. And that is going to be well into the 136s, and actually 137.5, so not a time representative, I think, for pole position here, as we're seeing Snipper Pig. Let's see if there's anybody close to finishing a lap themselves. Trying to see if we can have anybody here. We do have Dreams. Let's see if he can set a better time coming around the final turn. Looks to be pretty good. Was pretty fast in the practice session we were in. Comes across the line, and it's going to be a 134 flat. That is a blistering time here around Hanoi. A very good lap time by the Alfa Romeo. Honos sets a 134.2, so clearly we see that 137, not a very good time around this track. We see the McLaren of Cora coming around the final turn. It comes across the line. Third fastest of 134.4. That's a tenth slower than Honos, but the McLaren's currently second and third. But the times are going to drop, ladies and gentlemen, and there's just a little bit of sun coming out, and Snipper Pig, the winner of last year's Indianapolis 500, goes into the 134s as well, but it's a 134.2, and that is the first row of the grid currently for Snipper Pig, behind the Alfa Romeo of Dreamsy, who is with a flat 134, a very, very nice time from him on that soft compound tire. Running aboard a Pecan 36 in the Haas car. I saw him mount the curb a little bit there, and it almost sent him into a wall. Pecan in the Haas, not setting a lap time just to get about half the grid has set the lap time so far, so just a few not yet setting it. You can see right there, it's those wide-angle racing lines that really make the back end panic. You can saw Pecan there struggling to get on the power, if not to possibly spin the car around as he flies through there, and should be heading up towards the hairpin soon. Braking very, very late. His car, let's see what speed he reaches, seeing if there's any differences in setup. And I believe he's running a little bit higher downforce because he only hit up a 205 on the speed right there. So a little bit of a higher downforce setup here. Don't know if that's too wise considering the amount of straights. You might be able to get away with a little less downforce even if you have that final Sector 3 chicane, which is crucial to get right. This is really where all the time is made up, as we see Pecan flying through there, and you can see he is doing very well through there, considering he does have a little bit more downforce to play with. And he's going to go into the pits. Speed King goes 9th fastest in the Red Bull. That's good, and with a 135.5, so not a terrible time. And that is about 4/10 clear of BOE Bryce with a 136. So the 136 and 137 runners definitely going to want to improve their pace. I know X Breezy probably can go a lot faster than that in the Racing Point car. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for everybody. But right now, it's Dreamsy in first, Snipper Pig in second, Honos in third, Dilgaff in fourth, and it is Cora in fifth, rounding off that top five as he exits the pits, the same as his teammate. And they actually went side by side there, so they had to restart the animation a little bit there. But the two McLarens line astern as they're coming out of the pit lane, getting ready to set their respective laps. So we have about 10 minutes left to go in the session. And not through the halfway point yet, and already some very quick times, but Dreamsy about 2/10 clear of Snipper Pig, so that is definitely, this might definitely be his track, considering his general setup parameters. We'll have to wait and see if Dreamsy can put it all together for a win today, but he's looking good for at least pole position at the moment. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Just had to plug in my controller and make sure we don't lose power during this action so we can keep you up to date with everything that's going on. But nonetheless, about 9 minutes left to go in the session. A few drivers currently on outlaps right now, trying to set some lap times. Currently, drivers who do not have lap times, that is Publix, who just came across the line to start a lap. We have Kill the Birdman, who is in the third sector. And then we also have Pecan 36, who has just entered the final third sector. And he will be looking to set a lap time, currently sitting last out of all of the runners in that Haas, so he's going to want to pick up the pace a little bit and get himself higher up the grid. I'm going to ride on board of Publix right now, who's trying to get a lap time on the board in general, as he brakes at 202 miles per hour and looking pretty dialed in through those corners. A little ride on the curb there, but not too bad. Puts on the power, looking smooth, and hits the apex right there. Publix back onto another straight. There's going to be DRS coming up in just a second here, and you can see the DRS flap open now, and that's going to allow about 10 kilometers per hour of increased speed as they head into the hairpin, which is a very hard braking zone. How does Publix do it? Handles it very well, hits the apex very well through there. Now another braking zone coming up here. One of my more favorite parts of the track is this part right before that chicane. Look at that, fastest in the second sector for Publix, so on the charge right now. A very good second sector for him, as now he comes to the third sector, which is where it all really matters here, as you want to pinpoint those braking zones, pinpoint your throttle well. Rides the curb a little bit there, but he doesn't unstable the car too much. And you see somebody dive into the pits in front of him. Here goes Publix coming around the penultimate turn, and then the final turn in the AlphaTauri. Here goes Publix. Let's see what the time's going to be. And it's going to be pole position with a 133.8. What an amazing lap time by him. That's the first 133, and that's pole position. And it's a 1-3 right now for the AlphaTauris, and Dreamsy might be living in dreamland right now, because I don't think he thought he was going to be beaten with that 134, because that was already an impressive time as it was. And look at Dreamsy with a 133.6, maybe not, because he knew he could go faster. The track evolved just a bit more, and with a 133.6, it's another 2/10 separating pole position from second place. And Dreamsy on a roll right now, really in dreamland, because that's the dream you want to be on, and that's pole position. Everybody's setting lap times right now. We also have to mention Pecan, who actually just dropped down to 11th as X-Breezy goes into 10th. But Pecan up to 11th after not setting a lap time with a 134.7, so not a terrible lap time from the Haas driver. Definitely put himself up a lot more positions than last place, so good to see him getting close to the top 10. X-Breezy, though, does drop him to 11th, and X-Breezy in the top 10 now. We also have Bossman 11, who almost slings it into a wall after riding the curb a little bit too much. Ripper Rick currently in the pits. Cora in 7th position. Dilgaff in 6th. Hurricane, the teammate of Dreamsy, in 5th position. Honos in 4th. Snipper Pig and Publix, the two AlphaTauris, in 2nd and 3rd. And it's Dreamsy currently on pole position for the AlphaTauri Italian, the Alfa Romeo Italian outfit. And Dreamsy kind of in a zone of his own with that 133.6. Currently on track is Dilgaff, which looks to be on a time right now, definitely using hot lap, so on a time right now. He's got a Racing Point who actually, a Racing Point who just went into the wall. there, and that is X Breezy, who was well enough lucky to just deal with some end plate damage, because that was a pretty hard impact into the wall there, and he falls in the Ferrari. Actually, he does not set a lap time, but that could have been a disastrous end to X Breezy's qualifying session. Bossman warming up his tires right now, looking to go for another lap, currently sitting 9th on the grid in the Mercedes, hoping to get a little bit further up. Clips, oh, and then, oh, let's see, does he have damage on the front wing? I don't know if he does. He hit the wall coming out of the exit. He does not have front wing damage, but he is going to abandon this lap before it even starts, because he did not get a good exit out of the final turn. And that, you got to be careful here. I mean, especially that final turn, very easy to ruin your next lap if you hit the wall. It's going to ruin any kind of chance you got on that front straight. Starting your lap. And Jonathan, you want to make sure you get a good start to your lap, or else the rest of it can be a disaster very quickly. With just 4 minutes to go in the session, many drivers still in the pit lane right now. Pretty long lap times around here, so drivers, if they want to set laps again, are going to have to get out relatively quickly. And we only have a few drivers currently on the grid right now, even trying to set times. We have Speed Kings 91, who is definitely on a lap right now, using up some ERS. He's got a Ferrari ahead of him, and that is, I believe, the Imperial. It is the Imperial, and we see a few drivers now starting to start out laps to set a faster time. But he might get some slipstream off the Ferrari, but he doesn't want to get too close to him in this final Sector 3 little chicane here, because that can cause some dirty area situations, but he gets to it okay with no troubles. And Speed King looking to get a little bit further up the grid, only in 14th at the moment, ahead of his teammate. And that is a 135 flat for him, and that's 5/10 clear of Dilsack. So a pretty good lap time from him, and that's going to put him in the 12th position. Pecan still sitting in 11th. So currently on outlaps are Ripper Rick, Cora, Dilgaff, and Hurricane. Also on an outlap right now is Publix. Dreamsy is still in the pit lane, and I suspect that this is going to be it for him unless he comes out just about... Honos goes fastest, a 133.5. That's a 10th clear of Dreamsy. And Dreamsy is not out on track yet. If he doesn't get a move on soon, he's not going to be able to set another lap time. I don't see Dreamsy anywhere. And Dreamsy is not out of the pits. So he is not going to be able to set another lap time. We are not going to see him challenge for pole position, but Publix will be challenging for pole position. So will Snipper Pig. Hurricane is still in the mix there too, though he definitely wants to improve a little bit more than that 134.3. I'll have to wait and see, but Publix is the first of the top three to, besides Hono, sorry, the last of the top three to start another lap. Let's ride on board of him as, oh, he had that racing point coming out of the pit lane. And I don't know, I think that was X Breezy who just came out of the pit lane. Yes, it was, had to get out of the way of a few drivers, and that could have been disastrous. There is Dreamsy. So Dreamsy knows now that he has to get a move on, but I don't think he has enough time to get around the track to set another lap. He can't be going solo like this. He's not always trying to let drivers by. I know he doesn't want to impede them, but if he slows down like this is going to be very, very close. I don't think he's going to get around for another lap. But Publix has invalidated his lap, and that means he is not going to challenge for pole position today with a minute left to go in the session, because he's going to have to rush around track to get around for another lap. That is unfortunate for the AlphaTauri driver right there. Looking to get another lap, has invalidated this last one. Here's Dreamsy, 50 seconds left to go in the session. I don't think there's enough time here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be very, very close. I'm hearing Jonathan that Racer X is in the chat.
I do apologize. Should be able to hear me now. I don't know why that was off.
X Breezy retiring from the session. I believe that he has decided better of it. 30 seconds left to go. on the outlap still. Dreamsy might get into another lap here. He's got to pick up the pace. Only 20 seconds left to go now. Really has to push it here, and I think he will just about make it. 18 seconds. That's going to be 15 seconds here. It's going to be very close here. Can he make it? He's really slowing up the car. Only 10 seconds left to go. Speeding up the car now.
Going to be
5 seconds.
Close.
He is going to make it. Here we go. One more lap for Dreamsy. And he timed that perfectly, but he really goes wide in the first turn, and that's not what you want to be doing here. Under pressure right now, he's got a Renault who just came back on track, and that was, I believe, was it Ripper Rick there? No, it was the other Renault of Hellmaid who just came out of the pit lane, or at least was finishing a lap. But Honos on pole position, Dilgaff in third position. Publix has moved down to fifth after invalidating a lap. I don't know if he is on a lap right now. So he is trying to challenge for pole position still, was able to get around for another lap. We'll see if he can do it. Does he have enough fuel, which might be a big question for him. But Dreamsy is in Sector 2 right now, so we have to see what this Sector 2 time is going to be. How much of a problem is he going to be for Honos as he's coming near towards the chicane? 206, 207 miles per hour, just glitching in the 208, breaking into the hairpin. What's that Sector 2 time going to be? This is going to be crucial. What's the gap? How much has he shaved off, or has he not shaved off? No, he is plus 0.2 of a second, so Dreamsy is not on a charge right now for pole position challenging, and Dreamsy will not be happy to not get it on pole. He's slinging it through this final sector where anything can make it or break it here. Only 0.3 of a second, just about to make up. Let's see if he did it in this final Sector 3. Coming around that penultimate turn, now towards the final turn. Here comes Dreamsy, looking for pole position. Can he get it? No! A 133.7! 0.05 of a second off pole position, and Dreamsy will not make it on pole. It's Honos currently on pole position, and everybody else in the pit laner has finished, and Honos has made it on pole for the Vietnam Grand Prix.
Great qualifying session, especially at the end there. The top 7 all in the 133s.
Absolutely amazing qualifying session there. Honos with the surprise pole position grab at the end there, and Dreamsy misses it by 0.05 of a second. And he will not be happy about that one, to say the least.
No, especially losing it out to his former teammate of Honos.
Just reminding him, like you said, I'm still here, and I'm here to challenge you for victories, and Honos puts it on pole ahead of Dreamsy. Dilgaff in third position, Ripper Rick in fourth, and Publix rounds off the top 5, though he did drop some positions and was not able to get anything faster on the board. Snipper Pig in 6th, 7th for Hurricane, Cora in 8th. Pecan gets into the top 10, along with Bossman W11. That's your top 10. It's Breezy then, Drew, Dilsack, Kill the Birdman, Speed King, Hellmaid, Beely, Bryce, and Imperial is going to round off the grid of a 136.9. About, that's not too good, though. About a few seconds off, a full second off of the next man in front of him. So he did have some struggles here in qualifying. But that was 18 minutes of a lot of action, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get set for action for the race here. 50% around the Vietnam Grand Prix. And Honos is going to be on pole position. His teammate Cora not faring too far as nicely, currently sitting in 8th. The AlphaTauris are sitting in a nice position, though, in 5th and 6th, so looking for some good points there. The Mercedes looking pretty nice as well in 10th and 13th, though, but so the Dilsack will want to make up some positions. So currently AlphaTauri with the best of the teams right now in their positions. Alfa Romeo Racing also looking pretty good as well.
It is going to be very interesting to see how this race pans out. Really, anything can happen in these 28 laps.
Oh, I just saw there at the bottom there, we were migrating hosts. It looked like Bossman W11 has left the session. I don't know if he had a disconnect. Well, actually, sorry, I forgot about... Ooh, I forgot restart. About that. Forgot about the restart there. Right. About the custom grid, because we do have some grid penalties that I forgot about, because Pecan told me them, and then I forgot about them. I don't know why. You know why? I remember why I forgot about them, because I heard this terrible news today. This terrible news that Jonathan Ledoux, my co-commentator, bought the deluxe edition of Project Cars 3. I have to tell you, Jonathan, I almost didn't want to commentate today with you because I was so embarrassed for you that you actually bought the deluxe edition of Project Cars 3. Do you know how disappointing of an action that is? That is a very disappointing thing, Jonathan. You bought a $94 waste of nothing. Waste of money. $94. No, you don't apologize. You don't regret the person. How are you going to apologize for that? You regret nothing. I'm still waiting for the invite here, ladies and gentlemen, but thank you for watching that one as short qualifying is complete. Actually, wait a minute. No, wait. Are we not restarting? We're on the formation lap right now, so I don't believe we're going to have a restart here.
I just got a invite to a lobby.
Okay, all right, never mind. I just saw a bunch of people hit the wall, so I'm gonna... All right, so Racer X cannot hear Jonathan again. Just as strange as when you bought the deluxe edition of Project Cars 3. Anyway, thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching live coverage of round number 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship. And it is the Vietnam Grand Prix. We're just about to get set for action here with this 50% race. And it's glad to be back with you in the commentary booth. I do want to confirm, ladies and gentlemen, I am glad that I was able to talk to Beacon, and I will be commentating next year's Indianapolis 500 for the United Drivers League. So I'm very excited to be part of that event again. It was so much fun to commentate one of the most historic races in all of motorsport. And hopefully I'll be able to have it alongside you as well, as I did enjoy that commentary with you for the Indianapolis 500. It was a very good 3 hours and 40 minutes time spent. Though probably a little bit extra more time because of the amount of restarts we had with the formation lap.
Yes, that will probably happen. Hopefully I will not have to also race direct, because that was slightly stressful, but it was fun after that.
We'll have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen, but nonetheless, let's get set. Let me just press spectate so I don't start the race by accident. Make sure you have put spectator on as well, and we'll be getting underway shortly. The grid is going to be set to custom grid, so we'll put in the correct grid spot penalties. And we have 18 drivers ready, so let's get set for action in just a few moments' time, ladies and gentlemen. Vietnam Grand Prix coming up. It is going to be 28 laps around the Hanoi Street Circuit.
Just a little test. Racer, can you actually hear me, or?
Imperial 757 with some very breaking news right now. He has to go to the bathroom so bad. Will that affect turn 1 here in Hanoi? We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Jonathan, I do want to ask you about your opinion in qualifying. Who do you think really is in a good position here to win? Who do you still have your eyes on? Is it going to be Dreamsy? Is it going to be Is it going to be Honos? Who is your pick right now for the win?
It's really tough. In my opinion, it will be either Dreamsy or Honos, but that purely depends on them not making a mistake. Any mistakes could be so costly here. Really, anybody in the top 10 has a chance of winning if there are any mistakes.
So you've heard it here from the intellectual Jonathan Ledoux, a smart man who unfortunately made a poor investment earlier on in the month, but we still love his commentary. I will try to limit the Project Cars 3 Deluxe Edition roasts during the stream, but I will be hard-pressed to do so. But nonetheless, we are going to get set for action very shortly here. Here in Vietnam, I have set for action at least 100 times so far in the commentary, so you're going to hear that a lot. Just one of my... I should actually trademark that and sell that on a shirt. Let's get set for action.
I would buy that shirt.
You would buy that shirt? There we go. It's gonna go on my. It's gonna go on my Redbubble in just a few moments' time. Then I'm gonna make that shirt after the stream. It's gonna go on Redbubble, and you can attribute money to me because I know how much money you have because you spent $94 on the Project Cars 3 Deluxe Edition. That one you opened yourself up for, unfortunately. But we're still waiting.
It sounds like an ESPN blooper reel.
This is. This is gonna be a Drew Young saying Drew Yu is the best. So somebody's talking in the first person. Recently watching the courtroom scene of Ted Bundy, who talked in the first person the whole time. So looking good. Anyway, I'm trying to make this as exciting as possible because realistically, all we're doing is looking at a screen as they make the custom grid. So we're trying, ladies and gentlemen, but there's not too much to talk about.
I beg to differ. This is riveting action.
This is absolutely riveting. We got great graphics going on. We got the YouTube chat going. P1 for Drew Yu. RacerX is predicting. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's gonna have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to say, though, on a more serious note, though, I do have the A on my logo for a reason, because it was the Belgium Grand Prix this weekend, and of course, that also means we were honoring the life of a Formula 2 driver who unfortunately had his life taken away for far too long. As we're about to get set for action here, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Antoine Hubert, who unfortunately died at the Belgium Grand Prix weekend last season. And we want to give out our heartfelt condolences to the family for their loss. And we still remember Antoine today. We race for Antoine as we get ready for the Vietnam Grand Prix. And a tragic loss in the world of motorsport last season. But we will remain strong, and we will remain strong for him, as he probably would have wanted that.
Couldn't agree more.
Let's get set for action for the Vietnam Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. About to begin the formation lap. Just waiting for all the drivers to load up. The grid has been set based off of the penalties.
You know, I don't think it's going to be a problem with this league, but if the race does get boring, there is always a soccer field right next door.
That is true. It's probably where they're developing a equally terrible FIFA game. The next, I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here. I just want to get into the race and give you guys some good racing action here, so we can stop roasting Jonathan about his bad purchases. Just loading up into the lobby. Black screen. We're almost there, guys. We're into the home stretch, into the final furlong. And there we go. We see all the cars. They're bumping up and down. Their engines full of power. Because that's what Formula 1 cars do when they got all the power in them. They just bump up and down, you know. It's just to show the power of your Formula 1 car. As everybody making
special
their setups.
Hydraulic system.
Special hydraulic. This is actually a preview of the old Williams smart suspension system that they had in the 90s. So they're actually going to be reintroduced. And this is just the calibration feature. Here we go, 20 seconds until session start. 28 laps around the Hanoi street circuit. We like to make jokes, but now it's time for business here. Let's go over the starting grid one more time for this Vietnam Grand Prix. Now with the grid penalties in order, I do believe there were a few to put in place. So let's get set. There is that one red light, and the formation lap begins. There's your predicted pit stop strategy, either medium soft to soft or hard soft to soft. So we're predicting a two-stop strategy nonetheless. It's Honos on pole position, and it is Dreamsy in second. Ripper Rick in third. Publix moves up to fourth, and Snipper Pig in fifth. Sixth for Hurricane F1. Cora in seventh. Dilgaff in eighth. Ninth for Pecan and X Breezy in the top 10. Drew U 24. He's not P1 at the moment, only in 11th on the grid. Dilsack in 12th, 13th for Kill the Birdman, 14th for Speed King 91. Bossman W11 in 15th position. Hellmade in 16th. BOE Bryce in 17th and 18th for the Imperial 757. As I said, 28 laps around the Hanoi Street Circuit. You're watching live coverage of round number 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship. And we are just getting ready as the drivers are warming up their tires, warming up the brakes, and ultimately getting ready for the action. We'll get ready for the 5 red lights to go on and then off and begin the race. Jonathan, any last words before the drivers make it onto their starting boxes and rev up their engines towards 15,000 RPM?
Just beautiful grid here. A bunch of great drivers. We have the self-proclaimed greatest driver in the league, Drew Yu, all the way up in 11th today. Honos and Dreamsy, a good rivalry right now at the top. And then Publix and Snipper Pig in the best situation for their team. It's going to be a great race.
And they're just rounding the final few turns, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ira Serwix. You have Jonathan Ledoux in the commentary booth with me. And they come around the final turn right now, just about. And they're going to form the grid up. It's Honos 97 on pole position. And it's Dreamsy alongside him on the first row of the grid. On the second row of the grid, it's Ripper Rick and Publix. And there they go, lining up onto their box. There's Honos. There's Dreamsy, Ripper Rick, and Publix. 5 red lights coming on in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. There's that Imperial 75 coming around. Will slot into his position. Just getting, and here we go for the 5 red lights. And it's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And the lights are out, and away we go. And it's going to be Honos who gets a good start, and the Haas behind him gets a good start as well. I already had a problem with my onboard there. And in the turn 1, it's a big dive by one of the McLarens that looked to be Cora. And it is Honos who keeps the lead of the Grand Prix. Dreamsy still in second position. And then you have a Renault of Ripper Rick in third. Fourth is going to be Publix there, I believe. And there's a McLaren off track, and it's Cora who's trying to get ahead of one of the AlphaTauris and has done so, actually, ahead of Snipper Pig. And Pecan is side by side with Snipper Pig, and Pecan trying to hang it around the outside. It's not working too well. I do apologize. We're having some problems with the side graphic there in terms of the names there, but nonetheless it's Honos who has kept the lead of the Vietnam Grand Prix. Dreamsy in second position, Ripper Rick in third, fourth for Publix. Cora is down in fifth, and Snipper Pig down in 6th. Pecan up to 7th position, so a very good start for the Haas driver. Moving up 2 positions, Hurricane down in 8th. Not a good start for him. Dilgaff in 9th. And side by side, 2 drivers. That is the Williams of Drew Yu trying to hang it around the outside of the Mercedes of Bossman. Goes off track a little unstable. Had to mount the outside curve there, and that unsettled the car and almost put him into a wall. And now he's got a Renault behind him of Hellmade 7, who's down in 13th.
Little slight rubbing between Pecan and Cora right there.
As we move further up the grid, let's go back to Honos, who has a little bit of a lockup coming into the penultimate turn as we are about to begin lap number 2. As the lap times around here, you're going to be looking at about a 140 about in race time, but Honos fastest on track at the moment. And I do have a little bit of a glitch, unfortunately. Again, my now it's showing Pecan in the lead, but don't worry, that is not the case. It is Honos in the lead, Dreamsy in second position, and then Ripper Rick in third position. We have Publix in 4th position. and his teammate in 5th behind him. Cora dropping down a position as well. So Snipper Pig getting back ahead of the AlphaTauri. But he has to deal with Pecan, who's looking on the inside, but ultimately decides against it and looking to make a move here, which you have to do. So you have to find some unorthodox lines because it is not easy to make overtakes around the street circuit. As you can see there, further down the grid, the Red Bulls are having a little scrap and getting ahead of Dilsack, who is on the inside, and that was an outside move by Kill the Birdman, and it was a very good move. And we see here now Speed King side by side with the Mercedes, wheel to wheel right there almost. And it's going to be getting very, very close. There's still no DRS on this second lap. Coming into the chicane, is he going to make a move somewhere? He's going to try to maybe look on the outside. He's a little side by side of him. Going to look for the outside dive. Still side by side for a little bit. Puts back on the power. He keeps it off the curb. It's looking good. And ultimately, though, the Mercedes gets ahead of the Red Bull. And Publix showing the moves up a position a little bit, and it's Snipper Pig, I think, that he's having the battle with right now, and Dreamzy and Ripper Rick are gaining a little bit of a gap on each other. Honos as well getting a gap on some of the drivers, and Pecan looking to get ahead of Cora right now, getting very close to the rear end of the McLaren driver. A little bit hard on the power. Oh, into the wall right there. Thankfully on reduced damage, that could have easily been an end plate gone off the car, if not worse. And DRS has now been enabled, and these DRS straights very, very long. We're going to be seeing some crazy action in this race, but I have to say, very impressed of all the drivers keeping it relatively clean through here so far. Not too many incidents, and turn 1 relatively clean.
Yeah, for how tight the circuit is and the lack of real knowledge of the course, very, very tight racing from everybody and keeping it clean.
And Dilsack has gone ahead of Kill the Birdman, so the two Red Bulls now closest stern. And here comes Speed King. Might be looking to make a move on the inside of his teammate, but decides against it. A little bit too far back, about 4/10 separating those two drivers. The teammates were on lap number 3. And look at this, side by side with Kill the Birdman and Dilsack. And now the Red Bull, Speed King, trying to get involved back with his teammate. And the Red Bulls have to be careful here. They want to get over this Mercedes, but it's going to be tough here. Kill the Birdman in the slipstream with the DRS now, trying to make a move possibly on the inside. Now look at this. This is going to be interesting here. Going to go 3 wide possibly into this hairpin. It's getting very, very interesting between the Red Bulls. Who's going to overtake who? And look at this. Trying to make a move around the outside. He's almost got it done, but with better traction is Dilsack, who still has the inside line coming into this turn. Now it's going to be the inside line for Kill the Birdman, and he's going to make the move on Dilsack. Breaks very late. Actually makes contact with the Mercedes driver, which allows Speed King, his teammate, to get ahead of him as well. So a little bit of contact, and that was a little cheeky from Kill the Birdman. Both the Red Bull drivers have now gone ahead of him, and now Speed King might want to be careful here because you don't want to battle with your teammate too much and constantly cause an incident for both of you.
Very, very sneaky. Good, I have to say, good on Speed King there for capitalizing on it, though.
And I'm running on board with Easy Hurricane F1 right now, who is getting close to Pecan, about 2 seconds back. So with no DRS, Pecan, a little bit of a sitting duck on some of these straights, a little bit too far back for Easy to possibly make a move on Pecan right there. But that was a major cut of a corner right there. I know they put it on strict during qualifying. I think they kept it off for the race on back onto regular. Drew Yu and Hellmate are having a bit of a battle right now, and Drew Yu goes down a position, Hellmate up a position. The Red Bull's still battling.
Publix going right behind Ripper Rick, making a move into the hairpin on the outside.
Keeping the outside line, using a little bit of the curb, and now Publix goes far too wide, and now Snipper Pig is going to get involved with his teammate Publix, and this is some dicey situations for both of the Red Bull outfitted cars as Snipper Pig and Publix almost go into each other here, and now this is helping Cora catch back up. You can see this train of cars here coming through this S section. Little mistakes can easily ruin a race, and not just for one person, maybe for a couple people here. Anybody who has a contact here, except maybe for Snipper Pig, might ruin a few couple people's races. But Cora is loving it right now as Public still trying to close up to Ripper Rick, just keeps it out of that exit wall. And DRS activated. Will he make a move in the turn 1? He looks in the turn 1 maybe to scare Ripper Rick a little bit, but ultimately stays behind him for the moment. Hellmate has gone into the pits. So this is the first pit stop off of the soft compound tire on lap 5 of 28. Nope, no safety car, nothing yet. But it is a very early pit stop from the Renault. I don't believe he has damage. No, he does have damage. There's an end plate gone off the car, and they're going to replace the front wing on that Renault. So that is probably why they have decided to make that pit stop. And unfortunate for him, unfortunately, but we see here Public's not able. Well, we have Breezy, who makes a move on Pecan, and now Pecan under pressure from the Alfa Romeo of Easy. Back under pressure, so Pecan down a position. X-Breezy gets ahead of him, and now we get onto this very long straight. Pecan will have DRS on X-Breezy. He'll be using his overtake as well, which he is very low on, though. You can actually look on the steering wheel. The ERS on that car is very low. He's going to use a little bit more of it, though. He's got the DRS, so he's got a major slipstream advantage. He's going to have, which line is he going to have? He's going to have to go into the inside line. Breezy forces him to the inside. That is, oh, there's a little bit of contact between the two of them, and Breezy comes across on him a little bit and then gets back ahead of the Haas driver. And now the Alfa Romeo is loving this kind of battling, because that means he can get closer to Pecan and possibly make a move of his own. But Pecan does have X-Breezy ahead of him, which means he's going to be able to get ahead of him much easier with a combination of overtake and ERS, though the ERS much lower for Pecan, already using a substantial amount of it in this race.
While that whole thing was going on, Publix managed to get by Ripper Rick on the inside of the hairpin down the back straight.
And that has helped the teammates a lot, though. And now look at this. Is Snipper Pig looking? He made a little look on the inside, but ultimately decided against it. Publix, this is helping the AlphaTauri drivers, because they really don't want to be that close to each other, because they could ruin each other's races. So it's actually a little bit better that they're separated by the Renault right there. So that's going to allow them to alleviate themselves a little bit. But nonetheless, we have the two AlphaTauris in third and fifth, respectively. Ripper Rick still looking to possibly get back ahead of... you can see a lot of people cutting that chicane by quite a bit here, as they're taking advantage of the track limits being a little bit more lenient, I believe, as they are on regular conditions, as Pecan is back... still behind X-Breezy. How much ERS does he have? A little bit more than before. He's going to have DRS now again. A little further back than he was last time.
Snipper Pig making the move on Ripper Rick. Right by on the straight.
X-Breezy won't have to contend with Pecan.
It should be known that even with the track limits being a little more lenient, they definitely need to watch themselves, because drivers can send in reports.
And we'll have to wait and see if anybody does send in reports, because a few drivers have taken some, let's just say, more adventurous lines into some of the corners. And we'll have to wait and see if we see any of those reports happen after the race. But both the AlphaTauris back again, line astern in third and fourth. Ripper Rick down to fifth, losing a lot of time on those soft tires. I expect a pit stop rather soon from the Renault driver, who is struggling to keep up with the AlphaTauris. And oh, I saw there in the background, that was Pecan, who hit the exit wall of the final turn. And is Hurricane going to be close to him? Not close enough, but he hit the wall there. I don't know if that is end plate damage, and there is. Yep. There is end plate damage on that Haas car, so that is going to affect a lot of his performance. A track like this where it doesn't matter nearly as much, but in those slow speed turns, and especially in that final sector. But you see there, as X-Breezy actually had trouble in that turn right there. Is he going to try to make a move? Not on the outside, that's impossible. But Pecan definitely going to have a trouble for that final sector chicane there, because without an end plate, the turn-in is going to be a lot slower. I want to talk about Dilfag, though. We haven't talked to Dilgaff, as he is getting rather close to this pack. I forget I said that. It didn't happen. Hurricane sitting in ninth. Here comes Pecan again. He's going to make it around the inside again, breaking late into the chicane, and this time Pecan has the move, but he goes too wide, and he's going to lose it again. And this time the Alfa Romeo of Hurricane much more side by side of him now. Who's going to make it? He's going to have the inside line. Is Pecan? No, he's not. He gets overtaken by Hurricane, and this has been a terrible couple of corners for Pecan, losing 2 positions in the couple of corners now through the chicane, which I said he was going to struggle with, and in fact he is now Dilgaff getting very, very close. Down into, almost hits the back of Pecan, so Pecan has to make a pit stop ASAP, and he does so, in fact, make a pit stop after receiving that damage. And also X-Breezy into the pits. So those two drivers go into the pits. I don't think Pecan was expecting a pit stop from him, but he'll take it nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm wondering when we're going to start seeing our leaders dip into the pit lane. I'm not really sure how long these tires are going to last, but
Speed King is going to get ahead of them as well. We see a few drivers battling here. That's Kill the Birdman and Dilsack are battling right now for position, and that's an end plate gone off the Red Bull right there, as Dilsack is going to almost make the move, but actually went too wide, and he did let by Birdman, so good on him not to take that position off track. But nonetheless, Dilsack will look to make a move soon here. Kill the Birdman without an end plate on his front wing. And DRS is activated now. I don't know if he's going to get close enough for an overtake. He's getting very, very close, but he is going to stay conservative and back up. Kill the Birdman with a bit of a lockup there. Hard to find the ability to brake with that end plate there. A little bit slower turn in. He does have to brake a little bit harder in order to get into some of these corners, and a bit of a lockup from Kill the Birdman. It's going to kill some tire life on him, which is not going to help his cause at all on those medium compound tires. Dilsack looking to make a move soon. Pecan sitting there in 13th. And X-Breezy is in 10th position right now. So he's jumped Kill the Birdman and Dilsack, while Pecan is down in 13th. So that's not a good result for his pit stop. And we see a few drivers now, Dreamsy, Snipper Pig, and Cora into the pits.
Well, that answers my question from earlier this lap.
Honos still staying in the lead, has not decided to make a pit stop. Will probably make it at the end of this lap to cover the undercut strategy that the other runners are taking, most specifically Dreamsy. As where does Dreamsy come out relative to him? He's coming out of the pit lane now. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what the gap is about. It looks like it's about 17 seconds. So 17 seconds is about that gap, maybe 18 seconds, but it's very, very close. I don't know if Honos has the gap ability to make that move, but actually, wait a minute, no, wait a minute, that's even more time, sorry, because Publix, I'm not seeing his gap, so he has a pretty decent amount of gap to Dreamsy, and I suspect now he's going to make that pit stop. I don't think he's going to want to make these soft tires. I apologize, I just had a little bit of a disconnect on my microphone, but I don't think he's going to want to make those soft tires last any longer than he needs to have them last. I think he's just going to stay and put in the pits, put on the medium tires, and call it a day there, and wait for the next pit stop.
Very surprised if he did not dip into the pits this lap.
Still seeing no gap from Publix, but it is pretty big. And yep, into the pits goes Honos. So we're going to ride on board of Dreamsy. Where does he end up? Publix follows him in. Imperial has left the session. Apparently he's sitting down in 14th, and Pecan is having a battle right now with Kill the Birdman. I'm trying to ride on board of Breezy here. Some driver. Oh, look at this. A Red Bull and the Racing Point going side by side. They had a little bit of contact into the wall. Here comes Dreamsy. Where's Honos? Coming out. He's out of his pit box. Dreamsy coming around the final turn. This is going to be very, very close between these leaders. Where does Honos come out? He's just coming out the end of the pit lane. There's Dreamsy getting past him. But remember, Honos has the advantage with this pit lane. Where's the McLaren right there? There it is! And Honos gets ahead of Dreamsy out of the pit lane, and that is crucial for his race.
That is extremely good.
So Hurricane and Rick still have to make pit stops. Honos, though, does get ahead of Dreamsy. But will Dreamsy be able to make a move? He's got some overtake activated. Is he no DRS yet for him. But here we go. He might be able to make a move anyway. He's going to make a move around the outside of Honos. Honos has no pace, and he's going to lose the position, and Dreamsy gets ahead of him anyway. And despite getting ahead of him in the pit lane, Dreamsy doesn't even have to fight for that position, up to P3, and more importantly, up to provisional P1.
Dreamsy is in a great spot right now. He has that straight line speed over everybody.
Easy Hurricane F1 in second position. And Hurricane making a move on the inside for the lead of the race on Ripper Rick. What a move into the penultimate turn. And into the final turn, he leads the race now, and the pit stop window has opened for those medium runners now, as they say now. It's lap 11 to 17, so Easy Hurricane and Ripper Rick really deciding, oh, look at this, and Ripper Rick drops a position now. Dreamsy has gone ahead of him, but Honos, I believe it's been held up a little bit by Ripper Rick, still trying to get heaven. Oh, he hits the back of him. This is really ruining Honos' race. I think Ripper Rick is disconnected, so this is not good for Honos. He has to get ahead of Ripper Rick. Does have to be careful, though. You don't want to send it too badly. Is he going to make a big dive bomb? I think he wanted to, but he's not able to make it happen. Hits the back of Ripper Rick again. Now makes an inside move. And I think Ripper Rick is going to now... Yep. So he gets ahead of him again. Now the AlphaTauris are battling with Ripper Rick. Did you see him leave the lobby? I didn't even see that happen.
Yes, he did. He joined back after... But that really cost Honos a lot of time.
1.7 seconds the gap now.
Dreamsy was able to get by easy through the long carousel, and he just breezed by and just able to get even more time coming down onto that straight.
And Dreamsy has gone ahead of his teammate Easy Hurricane, so some teammates working well together. I have no gaps on my screen, so I do apologize if I'm missing anything, as Honos now must not be happy to have to have dealt with that situation. I do apologize on the graphic. There are no gaps on my screen. I'm going to see if I can try to refresh that with details, and I cannot, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But there is a good battle going on nonetheless, as you can see Honos in the slipstream. They have not made pit stops yet, so they're going a little bit longer. And oh, what a dive around the outside. Now it's going to be the inside lane, and now Honos gets bumped off track. He's going side by side of one of the AlphaTauris. That's Publix. Now trying to hang it around the outside. Has to go behind Honos at this time. Not able to make the move happen. And now will Honos have DRS coming down this straight? Yes, he will. And now Hurricane is going to be a sitting duck. What will Publix do? A little further back, Honos is going to dive around the outside again. A big lockup, and they're going to make contact. And now he basically bullies Hurricane off track, who loses now 3 positions. Honos, Publix, and Snipper Pig. And it's going to be Hurricane down to 5th.
While that was happening, Bossman received a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
So I do have my gaps back up, and here comes Publix. He is in the slipstream of Honos. He's going to make a move on the inside here, coming into the chicane. Squeezes him, and now it's going to be Publix up to P2. And Honos is having a bad time out of the pit lane. First, he gets held up by Ripper Rick, and now he's losing positions to the AlphaTauri drivers. It's just been a terrible turn of events for Honos in this race coming out of the pit so far. Lap number 12 of 28. You're watching round number 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship. We're here at the Hanoi Street Circuit, and it's Dreamsy who leads the Vietnam Grand Prix in spectacular fashion right now, but only 4/10 ahead of Publix, who is on a charge right now. And into the pits is Easy Hurricane. So finally, the last of the no-pitters, that was Hurricane, into the pit lane. So Dreamsy in the lead of the Grand Prix, Publix in second, Honos rounding off the podium positions right now, but Snipper Pig behind him looking to see if he can make it in there. Publix has a dilemma here right now. Does he try to back up Honos into his teammate and possibly let his teammate by, or is Publix going all out trying to go after Dreamsy?
Really, in my opinion, the only thing he can do is go after Dreamsy. If he backs him up, all that Dreamsy's going to do is just gain even more time, and he has that outright pace. Really, you don't want to risk letting him gain more time in that gap.
Honos in an AlphaTauri sandwich right now. This is helping Honos a little bit, though. He does have slipstream off of Public. And you can actually see here, he's got DRS. Is he using overtake? He's not, but he's got some major pace right now coming up towards the hairpin. He's going to make a move on the inside. He's going to think against it. Snipper Pig broke a little bit later. He might have been thinking of a move, but ultimately all of them stay in the similar positions they were before. And going a little bit further down the grid, we can see Ripper Rick and Hellmaid very close to each other. So the Renaults are now very close, line astern to each other. And there's also a gap between Dilgaff and Easy Hurricane. Is there going to be a move on the inside by Easy Hurricane? No, there won't be. And Dilgaff will remain in 7th position. Pecan in a little bit of a race alone of himself, currently in P9. So just a couple points for him. And now Ripper Rick has gone ahead of Hellmaid 7. So the two teammates switch positions, and Ripper Rick up to 11th. Now going to try to chase down Speed King 91. I don't know if it was an on-purpose switch of positions, but Hellmaid 7 nonetheless behind his teammate.
You know, I'm wondering if a better choice for Publix, Honos, and Snipper is maybe set your differences aside for a little bit and just use that slipstream to gain up to Dreamsy and then race it out.
Well, the gap right now, Publix is, it's saying it's a 1-lap gap, so I don't know if, I don't think that's true. I can't tell exactly. It looks like it's about a 1.5 seconds or so, maybe 2 seconds gap between the two drivers. Actually, no, maybe not. Maybe more like 4 seconds or so, but still, it's, I don't believe it's a lap down. Do you have a gap on your screen?
I see a lap down as well. I tend to see everything you see, so...
Great, fantastic.
Ooh,
look at this, Honos on the inside, so forget about being nice to each other. There's contact between the two of them, and Honos pushes Publix off track, then clips his front wing for good measure, and forget about being nice. They're being rather brush of each other, and now the AlphaTauris might get backed up into each other. That's not going to happen, but Publix was going to try to find a way to get back ahead of Honos, but Honos very, very harsh with Publix on that overtake. Not only pushed him off track, but then clipped his front wing for good measure.
So now we see there is a 3.6 second gap between Honos and Dreamsy.
So Publix is sitting in third, Snipper Pig in fourth position. And the AlphaTauri driver is a little bit further behind from each other, and Publix is 7/10 behind Honos. So we'll have to wait and see how this battle goes on now. Knowing how Honos kind of treated Publix in their last battle, are we going to see the gloves come off a little bit here, Jonathan?
I wouldn't be surprised. I know Publix personally, and he doesn't appreciate roughhousing, so he might give him a little bit back next time.
And into the pits was Ripper Rick. Into the pits on hard tires. He put on the hard tires. And we've seen a move here. Cora has gone ahead of X Breezy down to 6th position. So the AlphaTauri is looking pretty good right now. Ripper Rick down in 15th right now. I'm sure will come out in about 15th, as Imperial was a little bit too far back, I think, to be making a possible move on Ripper Rick. Coming out of the pit lane. Publix has gained up a little bit on Honos, though, about 0.6 of a second separating them. 3.4 seconds separating, though, Dreamsy and Honos. And really, that's not the gap you want in a race like this. Very hard to make up a lot of time, especially with drivers this dialed in, unless something happened.
He seems to make up a lot of time in the final sector, but then loses it in the... as soon as he hits the straights.
So definitely a speed advantage. You can see the AlphaTauri drivers helping each other out. Is we going to see a move anytime soon from them on each other, or are they going to stay relatively nice?
Yeah, down to 3 seconds in that third sector.
1.3 seconds now, the gap between Publix and Honos, so he's dropped back a little bit, and Publix actually looks like he's struggling a little bit on his tires. Now, Snipper Pig has dropped back a little bit further with 2 seconds, so there was an issue for some of them, or unless they've decided to make a gap between each other. They don't want to be too close to each other and possibly ruin each other's races, but you can see here, yeah, there you go again. Honos has actually lost time now, about 0.3 back up again, and so the slow corners might be where Honos is losing the time, actually, in the slow corner, surprisingly enough, considering we believe Dreamsy is on a higher speed setup, not a higher downforce setup than what we believe Honos is doing.
Yeah, he gains in the high-speed corners, but the low speed in the straights, he just loses so much time.
And into the chicane now. You can see already that gap starting to drop back a little bit. And yeah, you can see definitely so. It's these high-speed downforce section turns. So it looks like that downforce is working well in those turns, but then it's on the straights and the slow speeds where Honos just completely loses any part of the advantage he made up. Though with lockups like that, he's not going to be making up any advantages anytime soon. Jonathan, talk us through reactions so far as the gap starting to form in this race, as we're able to cool down a little bit from all the action. Who's your standout driver right now?
My standout driver has to be Dreamsy. he did a great strategy call in the pit lane, doing that undercut, and then with like being so close, coming out right behind Honos, able to get that, use that speed advantage that he has to just blow by him with absolutely no resistance, and then just take a commanding lead.
I want to talk here now with Speed King 91. The smallest gap of the group right now is he's behind Dilgaff, who has nobody ahead of him. That means no slipstream help, no DRS help, and now it's going to be Speed King making a move around the outside, and Dilgaff just lets it happen. No need to make that kind of battle. I think Dilgaff kind of knows his pace right now. He's just going to settle into the race. Currently sitting in P9, so he's still in the points. And Speed King 91 up to 8th position on lap number 17.
It has been a very good race throughout the grid. Really hasn't been a lot of time without at least some action somewhere.
And pretty tidy with the drivers, too. Not too many people into the wall today. We've seen a few people with some end plates gone, but no major incidents, no crashes or anything like that. Relatively staying all right. Snipper Pig is into the pits, so this will be his final pit stop. Lap 18 of 28. What does Snipper Pig put on? I'm curious. Is it going to be the soft tires till the end? And it will be. Soft tires going on the AlphaTauri right there. So here we go. It is going to be go time for Snipper Pig. Cora comes around the final turn there onto the start-finish line. Should get ahead of Snipper Pig. And now he's got a few other drivers. Breezy flies past. And then Hurricane F1. Where does Snipper Pig come out in terms of here? He's going to get ahead of Breezy behind Cora. So not too bad. Only lost one position. Now, how do the leaders react? How does Cora react? How does Publix, Honos, and ultimately Dreamzy? How do they react to that pit stop, Jonathan? Do they pit now? Or do they? Do you think they can go till the end? Well, they obviously can't go to the end, but when do you think they're going to be making their pit stops?
In my opinion, I would probably wait 2 more laps. Because if you wait 2 more laps, your tires are going to be much more fresh by the end of the race, and you're going to have that little bit more pace. I hate to say, I think Snipper just jumped the gun a little too early on that pit stop for softs.
We'll have to wait and see here. So about 10 laps to go in the race. Oh, but no, Dreamzy ain't thinking it. He's going to pit now. So Dreamzy reacts. Ponos reacts. Publix does not. Publix stays out, so he will take the lead of the Vietnam Grand Prix on those medium tires. So now it's go time for Publix. He's going to have to set a hot lap right now, go into the pits at the end here, see where he comes back out. Soft tires? Soft tires.
Very interesting strategy.
Whoa. Are they... what's going on here? They're stopped. Oh, my.
That just...
Oh, no.
That ruined Honos' race.
What happened there? Where's... Honos just stopped on track because of a racing point. Comes out in 5th position. He must be livid right now with what just happened in the pit lane. I have no idea what happened, but that was very, very weird. But nonetheless, whatever just happened has ruined Honos' race.
I don't even know what to say. Wow.
Very unfortunate for him. Oh man, it's just hard to fathom right there. As Publix is not got the gap he'd like on Dreamzy. Well, actually, wait a minute. No, it's stuck at 0.5 of a second, so I can't actually see what the gap is. But now Publix is fleeing it through turns here, and he needs to get into the pit lane as quick as possible. As you can see, Dreamzy now just starting that chicane bit there. Now Publix into the pit, so now he will put on the soft tires till the end. I presume Dreamzy's going to take back the lead of this Vietnam Grand Prix. Back into the pit lane.
Looks like it.
Yeah, so definitely will take the lead of the race. On that soft compound tire, Publix will have the newest soft tires of the runners here. And
it's really going to come down to the end.
Whose tires will last the longest? Breezy Sorry, it's Snipper Pig with the fastest lap of the race. Hono sitting down in 4th position, and that is, will we get third? He got ahead of him, and no, he does not get it. So Honos down in 4th, really the loser of this situation because of that pit lane issue. And I've never seen that happen in this game before, but you can't help just but feel absolutely gutted for Honos. That's the kind of stuff that you can't control, and it just ruins your race. You know, it's one thing to be in control of your loss. It's another thing not to be, and that's the type of stuff that hurts the most.
That's very similar to an incident that had happened at Spa last year, where a safety car disappeared on Dreamsy's screen and reappeared behind him, causing him to get disqualified.
Oh my god. Oh man. I could not even imagine. No, I just got disqualified recently in a USA Grand Prix because I went way too fast and I blew by the safety car. Little did I know, they only give you 3 seconds to get back behind the safety car. 3 seconds! If you make an illegal overtake under safety car conditions, it's 15 seconds. But only 3 seconds if you get ahead of the safety car. Ridiculous. And I lost the lead. My only lead of a race ever. I was very gutted, but nonetheless, Dreamzy is across the line, fastest on track, starting lap 21 of 28. Snipper Pig now goes back to fastest, and Honos goes fastest. So Honos, man, now he's got even the pace, and he's down in 4th, 2.9 seconds that gap. Just what can you say
for Honos?
I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just like you cannot blame anything Honos has done today on himself. That is the game's fault completely in that situation, and it has ruined Honos' race.
So sad to see that.
Drew, you has left the session. The greatest of all time, P1, down in 16th, has left the session, so I don't know if he had a disconnect, but that was unfortunate for Drew U24. Dilsack into the pits. He will put on the soft tires himself, and Helmate up to 12th position. Rounding off the top 10 right now is Dilgaff. The gap about 16 seconds back, so he should be good to keep that position in the race. As Dreamzy coming towards lap 22 now and drew you back into the lobby, should be able to get back into his car as well. And you're watching live coverage, ladies and gentlemen, of round number 3 of the UDL Formula World Championship, and you're watching Dreamzy come into lap 22 as your leader of the Vietnam Grand Prix. Snipper Pig in 2nd position and Publix in 3rd. If you enjoy the race, make sure to leave a like on the live stream and make sure to subscribe to the United Drivers League YouTube channel to catch all the action that happens in UDL. And if you're interested, make sure to contact United Drivers League to get in on the action into the Formula 1 world or some of their Project Cars leagues as well. As thank you so much for joining all of us, all the people who are watching live, all 16 of you right now. Glad to have you here, as it has been a very exciting Vietnam Grand Prix. Very clean from everybody so far, as Speed King has gone into the pits. I've lost my gaps again, unfortunately, so I can't see what's going on there. But nonetheless, Dreamzy has had an amazing race. Really nothing against his fault. He has done a fantastic job, spectacular job. That's not a word, but I'm going to say it anyway. Snipper Pig sitting in 2nd position and 3rd for Publix. So the AlphaTauris are having a very, very good race.
Definitely should add spectacular on the back of your t-shirt.
Yes, there we go. So I'm going to... Let's get set for action and spectacular on the back. There you go. And, Drew U's retired. Safety car deployed. Safety car deployed. Drew U has had a crash, and that's a safety car.
Wow.
And this has thrown the race right up in the air.
This could be exactly what Honos needed.
The drama. A final few lap safety car in this Vietnam Grand Prix, and this has blown this race wide open. Well, he's a Hurricane, got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so that's not a good start to the safety car bit, but lap 23 of 28. Well, that's a very, very late safety car. I thought usually the safety cars don't come out at a certain point, but it's come out now, and Hurricane has opted to pit. The front runners have not pitted, though. This is going to get very, very dicey at the end of this Vietnam Grand Prix. And I am on the edge of my seat right now. I'm on a bed right now. Don't at me. But I am on the edge of my seat right now. And let's get ready for some safety car restart action, Jonathan, here. And this is blown a wide open. Dreamsy is no longer a clear winner here. Anything can happen on these safety car restarts.
And I'd just like to say, so Drew, you said he still won if you take away the 7.
That is true. That is true. So with some good sports math right there, and that's just the kind of stuff any sports analyst would say. You know, he still got first if you take away 7. So I'm sure he's got a career in that for sure. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we're under safety car conditions here at the Hanoi Street Circuit, and Dreamsy is in the lead, but now he's got the 2 AlphaTauris who have been very, very feisty all race long behind him. And I don't believe we're about to have the safety car come in just yet. A few drivers still have to catch up on their deltas, and we could be looking at a possibility of a penultimate lap come in for the safety car. So very few laps to go. That's really going to help the drivers behind Dreamsy, because more laps you have mean more ability to gain a gap. So if you can capitalize on a penultimate laps come in for the safety car, even a final lap for the safety car, that's really what you want. I don't believe it's possible to end under the safety car. I've never seen it happen, but there are a few drivers are really having to speed up here to catch back up to the pack. So I don't know if that's the possibility of what's going to happen here, but we'll have to wait and see.
Just like to take a moment to look at the beautiful Mercedes AMG GT leading the field currently.
We're not sponsored by Mercedes, by the way, so don't take that as a sponsorship. We just like the car. It's actually, you know what? This car looks amazing. It looks even more... imagine a safety car looking better than the Mercedes, which... is it even in Project Cars 3?
I don't know.
You don't even know? You bought a deluxe edition of a $94 game. You don't even know if the most basic of Mercedes is not in that game. That Mercedes is in every racing game since the dawn of its existence.
I'm pretty sure the AMG GTR is, but...
All right. Good. But I'm sure you didn't have to spend $94 to get it. Anyway, here we go. We're still under safety car conditions, ladies and gentlemen. And... Dreamsy is your leader in that Alfa Romeo. The AlphaTauri second and third behind. Honos in fourth. And we have Cora in fifth. So the McLarens are also in a very good position of their own.
That safety car is moving.
He's got a Ferrari in between them. I don't know if somebody has to overtake who, but this is not good. So I've seen this before. We see a car ahead of somebody, even though they're not in their correct position, but you're not allowed to overtake them because it's a safety car. And this is really going to mess up with Cora right here. Thankfully, it's not Hono, so that's one last thing that he doesn't have to worry about.
Yes. If that was Honos, then we would hear some
choice words.
Some unkind choice words at the end of this race.
Do we have driver interviews in UDL, or is that not a thing?
We used to. That could be something for the future. But,
okay, I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Cool. All right. We're still under safety car conditions here, ladies and gentlemen. Not everybody has caught up. We have 3 more drivers that still have to catch up, so we should at least have 1 more lap of this safety car, and then we'll be able to get underway. But a few final laps crash from Drew U24, and we are coming towards the end under safety car conditions. It's going to be an extremely hectic end to this Vietnam Grand Prix. If you're enjoying it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's great to have you here. Everybody who is watching live from wherever they are in the world, it's glad to have you here, as we should be getting under racing at lap 26. That will be 3 more laps in the Vietnam Grand Prix. Who is going to win this star-studded race?
Definitely hasn't been a boring one, especially the end.
It's you know, everybody was talking about it in the chat when they were practicing. Is like, I hate this track. This is gonna stink. You know, who cares? I don't even like this track. And now, I think we have a few. I think a few people may have changed their mind today after this race, because this has been a stellar one.
There was even talks of replacing it on the calendar next year.
Oh, you can't have that now. I mean, we're having an amazing race right here. You can't do it now. Besides, they're going to replace it with either Spain, France, or Abu Dhabi. Which Abu Dhabi is the worst track in human existence, so we're not going to do that.
Looked like Dreamsy almost passed the safety car there for a second. That was
almost did.
A little worrying.
He almost had 3 seconds to get back. But safety car is in this lap.
All right.
Here we go. Dreamsy will control the pace of the pack. I'm going to ride on board of Snipper Pig right here. Publix. Oh, no. Publix hits the back of his teammate. He gets a 5-second penalty at the end there. You got to be careful on these safety car restarts. And now that's a 5-second penalty to add on to the end of his race. And this is going to really, really hurt Public's race right here. Honos must be loving it, though. And here we go. Dreamsy controlling the pack. When is he going to get ready to go? He's still keeping it slow. A little bit too early. And ooh, look at this. Snipper Pig getting side by side of Dreamsy. Keeping him honest.
Snipper is ready.
When does he go? Ooh, oh no! Is that a 5-second penalty? He just hit the back. Yes, it is! It's a 5-second penalty! Dreamsy also gets a 5-second penalty. This is going to blow this race wide open. I don't believe Hono's got anything. And here we go. Safety car restart. To the AlphaTauri stay in relatively same position. Dreamsy gets a 1.3 second gap already off the start of this Grand Prix. But what a interesting situation there. It looks like Dreamsy brake checks Snipper Pig. They both get a 5-second penalty. But does Dreamsy want that now? Because Honos, I think, is in the best position. I don't think he had anything on that restart.
This is dramatic, to say the least.
Lap 26 of 28. We've had some last lap 5-second penalties for some drivers. Snipper Pig will be absolutely livid, though, because he has a penalty. He has 2 penalties, though, now, because he hit the back of his teammate Publix. And sorry, wait, no, sorry. Who got it? Was it Publix who got the penalty?
Publix got it originally, and then Snipper Pig got it after hitting the back of Dreamsy.
So he has one. So it's Dreamsy has a 5-second as well, though. So does Snipper Pig. So does Publix, and I think Honos is fine. There's a yellow flag at the back, and Bossman's been spun round, and Honos gets up to P3.
The field is changing so quickly.
Look at this. Hurricane gets cut off, and Cora now on the inside. And there's contact. There's damage on Public's car, and he's back into the wall again. And this is a major, major bad ending for Public's race. Now down to 7th, and he might get overtaken by Pecan, who's sitting in 8th position. They're side by side coming into turn 1, and he's going to make a move on the inside. And he's going to get the position and put himself in the 7th position. And now he's going to get overtaken by X Breezy. And this has been an absolute disaster for Public's race. Down to 10th now on the grid. He's about to be out of the points. Here comes Hellmade, and into the wall. No, but Hellmade gets damage of his own now because he hit the back of it. Now he's down. Public still in the points now. Hellmade down to 12th. Does he have damage on his front wing because of that? Yes, he does. It's end plate damage. Publix might be getting investigated after this race himself, but he is just dropping positions like a bunch of flies. Now on the inside, back into the wall again is Publix. Dilsack made contact with Publix, and now Publix.
Dilsack and Hellmade.
Apologies there, though, but Hellmade now up to 11th position, but Publix has major front wing damage on that car. Snipper Pig has gone, in second position, 1.8 seconds, the gap between those two. But I think right here, the winner of this race right now is Honos with those 5-second penalties. It's going to be very interesting here. Final lap coming up.
Pass.
And Publix, has he been spun around?
Spins.
Dilsak's been spun, and Publix gets another 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Dilsak. And this race has been blown wide open for Publix, who's down to 13th. No points on the board for him at the moment. Here comes Snipper Pig, though. Final lap. Can he make the pass on Dreamsy? It's going to be interesting here. This is really just all bragging rights now. They both have 5-second penalties, and I think that's something Honos is going to love, because if he just stays within range, you're going to be your winner of the Vietnam Grand Prix. Snipper Pig behind Dreamsy. Looks on the inside, way too far back to make a move there. And Hurricane has made a move on the McLaren of Cora, and down up to 4th position. So Cora down to 5th, rounding off your top 5 at the moment. Hono sitting in 3rd position, and he must be absolutely throbbing at the heart for the possibility of this race victory, because you thought it was in the hands of Dreamsy, then the safety car. Here comes the slipstream. Here comes the overtake. Dearest activated. Will Dreamsy give up this position? Is there going to be a late dive into the hairpin? I think he's a bit too far back. Yes, he is. And Dreamsy's going to keep the lead, but he goes too wide. It's a switchback for Snipper. They make contact. Oh my goodness, this is amazing action on the final lap, and they make contact, but Dreamsy keeps the lead of the Vietnam Grand Prix. But the real question here is, with the penalties, where's he going to finish up? Because Sniper Pig right behind him without the dirty air. It doesn't matter. He's controlling that car as well as anybody. Dreamsy in the lead. There's more contact at the back, and look at this. There's more damage, and look at Publix. No front wing on that car, and Ripper Rick has retired from the session. A last crash when there was some contact at the back. Might be investigated later as they come across the line, and it's gonna be Snipper Pig who wins the Vietnam Grand Prix. Dreamsy down to 3rd, Honos up to 2nd. Snipper Pig wins it anyway, and Dreamsy really the real loser of that issue at the end there. But Ripper Rick is out of the Grand Prix. There was some contact of Publix and the Ferrari, I believe, Bossman. It's been a really crazy race with the Renaults there at the end there, and I think that might be investigated, because I think there was some dangerous driving going on down there. But Snipper Pig, somehow, again, in my commentaries, right on board of him, he has won a race. It's not the Indianapolis 500 this time. It is the Vietnam Grand Prix. Your driver of the day right there apparently is Speed King 91. I didn't even see where he finished, because we have had an absolutely amazing race right here.
Incredible last 3 laps. The amount of position changes and drama that happened in those 3 laps alone were enough to fill an entire Grand Prix. Never mind the last 10 laps.
Unbelievable race that was.
Incredible.
There's your final lineup. It's Snipper Pig in 1st, winning the Vietnam Grand Prix. Honos in 2nd, Dreamsy in 3rd, Cora in 4th position. Rounding off the top 5 is Speed King 91. 6th for Hurricane F1, 7th for Pecan 36. A great race for the Haas driver. X Breezy in 8th position, 9th for Dilgaff, and Kill the Birdman, rounding off the top 10 in the points today. It's Dilsack in 11th, 12th for Bossman, W11, Hellmade in 13th position, 14th for Publix, 15th for Ripper Rick, 16th for Imperial, and it's DNFs for Drew Yu and BOE Bryson. Sorry, I believe are Imperial and Ripper Rick as well. Both had DNFs of their own with the crashes. What a Vietnam Grand Prix. What a show these drivers put on. And I heard it was a bit of an embarrassment in Bahrain. Well, it wasn't embarrassing here. That was one of the greatest races I've ever had the opportunity to commentate on. And Jonathan, it was finally great to have you in the commentary booth for something that we love, and that is Formula One. And it was a pleasure to commentate it with you. You've been watching the United Drivers League. My name is ISRLX, and Jonathan Ledoux was my co-commentator this evening. If you enjoyed this Vietnam Grand Prix, make sure to subscribe to the United Drivers League YouTube channel, and make sure to like the live stream. It has been a pleasure to commentate for you guys once again. I'll see you either next week or next year for the next Indianapolis 500. But thank you so much for everybody who joined live. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Good night.